So in the previous unit, you learned how to multiply with scientific notation. Let's learn how to divide with scientific notation. All right, so our first one's going to look like this. We're going to have 8 times 10 to the 5th, and we're going to divide that by 2 times 10 to the 2nd. So again, you're going to have to recall some information from 2 lessons ago where we learned how to divide scientific notation with the same base. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this apart so that I have 2 separate parts. I'm going to take the factors and I'm going to put the factors together, and then I'm going to do the powers of 10 and I'm going to separate those two so that I can just do that. So I'm going to rewrite this problem as 8 divided by 2, and we know that we're multiplying, times 10 to the 5th divided by 10 to the 2nd. I'm going to put those in parentheses so that you see those are grouped together. Okay. Now I have a factor with a factor, and I have a power of 10 with the power of 10. Okay. As a result, I'm just going to go ahead and solve it now. I do 8 divided by 2, which I might need to use my calculator for. 8 divided by 2 will give me an answer of 4. I'm going to multiply because that's what I'm doing in this problem, because I'm multiplying. Reminder, when we have powers of 10 like this and we're dividing, we have to subtract. So we take the top one and we subtract from the bottom one. I know it's going to be a power of 10, or sorry, yeah, product multiplied by 10, and the power I do is 5 minus 2. Okay? When I do 5 minus 2, I know that I end up with an answer of 10 to the 3rd power. Okay? Let me show you maybe in a real world problem. The world population in 2010 was 7 billion. So just to give you an idea, not a fun number to write out. Okay? It was about 7 billion. The other way that I could write 7 billion was 7 times 10 to the 9th power. Much quicker, much shorter to write it this way. The United States population in 2010 was 300 million. Looks like that. If I wanted to write that in scientific notation, I would be 3 times 10 to the 8th. Okay? What I want to do is I want to figure out how many times larger was the world population than the United States. So because I want to know how many times larger it was, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to take the world population, which I know is 7 million, and I'm going to divide that by the United States population of 300 million, which I've wrote these over here in scientific notation so I can show you what it looks like in scientific notation. So I have 7 times 10 to the 9th divided by 3 times 10 to the 8th. So just like I did up here, I'm going to separate the factors. So I'm going to put the factors together. So I'm going to have 7 divided by 3 in one group. We're going to multiply by the group of 10 to the 9th divided by 10 to the 8th. Just like before, I might need to use my calculator. I'm going to take 7 divided by 3. I end up with an answer of 2.3 repeating, and anytime I have a digit repeating, I always put a line above it. So 2.3333 keeps repeating. All right. Again, when I'm dividing here by powers of the same power base, with exponents, I subtract. So I'm going to take 10 to the 9th, and I'm going to subtract 8 from 9. And so I'm going to get 1. So I'm going to have 10 to the 1st power. But when we think back to that original question, I asked how many times larger it is. So right now I have 2.3 times 10 to the 1st. If I wanted to find out how many times larger, I'd have to think back to, well, I have 10 to the 1st. Where would I move that decimal? The decimal would move once to the right. And so then I would end up with 23.3 repeating. Okay. So the population was about 23 times larger. So world population in 2010 was about 23 times larger than the population of the United States. Good luck with your division of scientific notation.